All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the San Diego Bass Fishing Podcast. We're back and bigger than ever. I shouldn't say that. I know we took a couple weeks off there. I've been super busy. It's tournament season, so traveling around, um, winning a few tournaments, placing, and it's been good. Everything's been good. Fishing's good. The We are bringing on Doc Curry tonight, and actually this afternoon, whatever. I'm gonna open my window here. It's gonna get warm. Um, what is today? Today is the 24th of March, and we're gonna publish this tomorrow morning on Tuesday. And Doc wanted to come on here and share a few things. Um, for one thing, something that happened to me just now today. So I got a guide trip tomorrow. So I was out at El Cap preparing for that, trying to locate some fish and do whatever and make sure the boat's running okay. And went out there for the morning. Was coming back. And of course, my leaf spring broke. Snap. I heard a snap. And then I thought, oh, maybe I hit something. And I kept going, and then I hear a clang, clang, clang. I was like, "Oh man, that's not good. That's not good." It's pulled over. I wasn't going very fast. I was just on the El Monte Road and still near the lake, and pulled over. And it's not the first time this has happened, so I knew having a good idea. So I got a jack out. I was on the side of the road, got a jack out, jacked it up. I had a piece of teak wood from a long time ago. I just kind of keep it in my truck. It's a nice wedge and this and that. And I have that in my truck, and I put that in between the axle and the frame, and put pull the jack out and went 20 miles an hour all the way home and got home. So I've been dealing with that. Put two new leaf springs in this afternoon since I've been home. Um, ready, all ready for the guide trip tomorrow, Got to get this whatever. This is the kind of thing that happens fishing trips when you're guiding and doing this whatever. So it's just like sport fishing, like something breaks and you got to turn around when you get in, or you got a trip leaving the next day or whatever. You got to fix it, whether it's a generator or a freaking fuse or a pump or a whatever that goes out. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you're fishing, and you're running trips, and you got to get home, fix it, and get ready for the next day. So anyway, that happened today. That was pretty exciting. Just got back from Havasu. Havasu was good. Havasu was good. A lot of reaction fish. Havasu is always, Havasu's weird. It's a strange lake. It's hard. It's a hard lake. But anyway, more on that later. We have a bunch of guests coming in. I'm going to try to get Matt Newman here soon and talk about iRods. We are going to get I think John Bell might make an appearance. Anyway, we got people on the list. We're going to get back to it. I'm back in town, at least for a little bit. We're going to, at least for April. I'm not going to go to one. So my next deal is in May, which is Havasu, Western Outdoor News Havasu, May. And then I turn around and go back to Mojave with the club. So that's gonna be another iffy kind of thing. I'll try to get some podcasts lined up and pre-recorded so that we don't miss them like we did this last couple of weeks. I don't like it. I don't like missing them. So anyway, we're gonna get Doc on here. We're gonna send the invite to him, get him on here, and talk about stuff. So we did the juniors tournament. Let's see. What did we do? I did the TOC on Saturday. The Bass Council, San Diego Council of Bass Clubs. We had the TOC. There was I think 11 teams this year. I was lucky enough to finish third. It was at San Vicente. Let's see. There's my trophy right there. Nice trophies. That was cool. A lot of small fish. I know Jake had just caught a 12-pounder the day before, and but man, like the winning weight was 11.88, 8.9, and then second place was like 11.85. I had 10.88 for third. It was caught a lot. It was good. I mean, it's good fishing as far as that goes. San Vicente, it is what it is. And then let's see, juniors was yesterday. We had the first point tournament for the juniors yesterday at El Cap. So yeah, the last couple of days I've spent at El Cap. I'm going back tomorrow with clients. Doesn't mean that's good. It's good though. It's all right. It's all right. I went back out this morning. I mean, it was kind of tough for the kids. They gotta slow down, man. They fish so fast. I tell you what, that Brenner Lynn, holy smokes. Jack Fleming too. First and second place, they both had 18 pounds. I don't know if I could pull 18 pounds out of there right now. I was there this morning, and I definitely saw the potential. And I had some high threes and whatever and blah blah blah, but I didn't have 18 pounds. And would I have caught 18 pounds? I don't know. I think I was leaving fish because I didn't want to burn them up too much because I have clients tomorrow. So, but man, 18 pounds in a tournament, those guys. And Brenner the day before, um, Brenner and Ryder were at Otay, and they did well out there too. Those guys are. I've had them on the podcast, Brenner and Ryder, and yeah, they're doing great. They're scoping. I was watching them scope, and they're really good at it. Really good at it. It's frustrating for me. So anyway, my daughter finished fifth. Ava took fifth yesterday. That was awesome. She did most of her stuff. Most of her damage was on a free rig. Jack also stood up there in front of everybody. He had 18 pounds. He said he caught it on a free rig. I would like to do a podcast specifically talking about free rigs. And maybe I'm sure we will talk about the tackle and lures and this and that, and how a free rig is kind of changing the face of fishing here. It's taken the place of drop shot. It's taken the place of the Nico worm. Free rigs is the new thing to get a bite on. And it's winning tournaments at this point. It's winning tournaments. It's getting right in there. You catch good fish on it. Let's see what else is going on here.
There's a lot to talk about.
Man, a lot to unpack.
Really cool stuff too. I mean, I had some really neat conversations this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Some really exciting stuff. Some things that guys want to try to do that are unique for sort of the tournament circuit. Taking some of the applications that the bigger circuits, the MLF and the Bassmasters use to spice up the whole season, to make it sort of an end of the season finale, to add some different flavor along the way. Say, like, for instance, John Strelick, one of our big sponsors in the American Bass, Advanced Plumbing, he suggests that we do something like a heavy hitters. Let's take the season and collect everyone's largest bass for the tournament, and say their best five at the end of the season. There's 6 tournaments, so maybe you get one throw out, and then let's see what your best 5 are, and then have some kind of an additional, bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The obvious strategy is to just, we want to keep people involved in the whole season, and then we want to promote the championship. The reason we have Bass Cat with American Bass is because they want people to go to those championships.
Right.
They want people to come and see their boats.
Yeah.
And look at their product. And
yeah.
And I'm 100% behind that. I mean, they're a great sponsor. They've been great to us. So,
okay, Doc. Let's hold on. Stop right
Go.
there.
All right.
Tell me who you are.
Oh,
Some there's
goodness.
going to be some people out there that just don't know what we're talking about right now.
All right. Well, I got mixed up in this stuff about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
A gentleman by the name of Gene Collins, Gene the Machine Collins. And if you've been around San Diego at all, you know Gene. He's got this hat that reflects in the light about 100 miles away. And he came into my office to get treated, and I became friends with him, and he took me fishing. And somehow I decided that I wanted to fish tournaments, and we got started about 30 years ago. So
yeah.
Now I fished with him for quite a while. I think I had about 15 or 16 years under my belt, and realized that I was also a family man. I had to back out of the situation. I actually stopped fishing tournaments for about 10 years to take care of my kids. You know, family came first, Little League, soccer, those kinds of things. But my history's always been involved with fishing. My grandfather started me when I was about 6 or 7, taking me to the bay. He had a lawnmower shop in Ocean Beach. So I spent a lot of time on Ocean Beach Pier,
nice.
You know, with a bag, with a box of clams and catching fish. But it progressed. We went from there into saltwater. You know, when I grew up as a young man, you could go on a half-day boat for $9. You could go fish on a half-day boat out of La Jolla. So I did a lot of that when I was young, and just progressed. And then again, when I had my practice and I met Gene, fishing in a tournament it gave fishing that additional level of excitement and thrill. So I suppose that's where it all kind of started.
So you're running ABA right now, right? Or are you not?
I'm a associate.
Okay.
I like to be involved.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be formality.
Right.
So my job is to I work with sponsors. You know, my job is to get sponsorships and like the food with Dark Castle.
Yeah.
You know, Advanced Plumbing comes in and does tremendous work for us.
Yeah.
You know, PB Rat, you know, the iconic bait maker, he gives us a rat for the big fish. So it you know, my job is just relationships, basically. You know, and East County Bait and Tackle, don't forget them. They've been awesome. You know, and I'd like to make another personal announcement if I could for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're here.
I just recently offered my assistance down at Lemon Grove.
Oh, okay.
So I'd like to ask the anglers to come down and see us in Lemon Grove. Dustin Tingle's got a really nice shop down there.
Yeah.
So what you see,
and he's got different stuff than East County. So it's worth going down there. It's worth going to both shops.
He's got a neat selection. He really does. He's got some nice stuff. I toured it yesterday and spent some time down there and helped some kids set up their rods and do some fun stuff. It was, I guess you consider it work, but it really was just, it was actually kind of fun. I told him, I feel kind of bad. You know, I'm going to get paid for this. So it was really neat, you know. And if you got kids and you want to bring them in and you want to have somebody take a few minutes with them and help them set up stuff, that's what we like to do. You know, the young man that was working with me was just a super kid. And so that's another, you know, we got to support those local businesses and keep them open. The same thing with John Cassidy and Anglers. You know, I just, you know, I shop everywhere I can around here. Now, you know, I'm wearing a Tackle Warehouse t-shirt. I should probably keep that out of the picture, but it's still, you know, I'm just saying it's you know, it's an industry that we all enjoy. So we got to do whatever we can to help support everybody.
Absolutely.
Anyhow, what I really wanted to talk to you about, what's coming up is, well, okay, before we go there, because I know all the anglers want to hear about what happened.
They do. And I wasn't, so I did like a little intro before I got you on here, and I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to let Doc talk about it.
All right. Well, it happened. Okay. And we all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, it happened.
Right. I mean, if you've been on the Facebook, you kind of know that another angler recently caught a 12-pounder at San Vicente.
Right. Yeah.
And there have been other big fish that have been caught that maybe didn't make the social or whatever. So it's just they're up, you know. And I talked to the young man that caught it, and he was very forthright, you know, that he caught it in a, you know, not really doing anything special. Okay. So it just, you know, kind of being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Although they're both tremendous anglers.
They are.
You know, Travis.
Yes, they are. Both have been around forever.
Look,
even if they are young.
Yeah, they're steel. You know, and steel sharpens steel. That's why we fish with those guys. If I'm going to lose, I want to lose to somebody that catches 30 pounds. Just,
there it is. That doesn't feel there so bad. It is. 30 pounds.
By 3/100ths or 3/10 of a pound, or there's a pound between 10th or, you know, 5th and 10th, and you're like right there. You could have one call, you could have made it.
Yeah.
Those are the hard ones. When a guy who has 30 pounds and you have 16 or 20 or whatever, and you go, okay, that's it. You know, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
Those are the ones where you really just shake the guy's hand. And it really was a phenomenal fish. I can't wait for the pictures to come out.
I haven't seen the pictures. I just saw that ABA updated. They have the results now.
Good.
Online. Good. So that's online. So that's cool.
Well, I can also give you this result because Dustin Tingle, the manager at Lemon Grove, he fished up on Sunday at DVL.
Diamond Valley.
And it took 33 pounds to win there.
Yeah, David Valdivia.
So there you go, right there.
Yeah.
There have been 3 tournaments now or 4 that it's taken 30 pounds or plus to win all these tournaments in San Diego.
Yeah.
So when you come in with 20 pounds and you feeling pretty good in the first flight, you know, I got 20 pounds. All right, that's pretty good. No.
Hopefully you'll cut a check. Hopefully.
It doesn't last very long. But you know, and I'll give you this. I don't want to have any negativity, but I have to say something. We had a lot of company on Saturday. We had people that were travelers that came in.
Oh yeah. There was other clubs there and whatever.
Too. Yeah. And you know, I'm cool with that, but you got to play by the rules, and you need to have your permits, and you need to follow regulations, and then your anglers need to be polite, especially because you're visitors. Yeah. You know, you don't run up people behind them, and you don't run in between 2 people fishing that are thrown to a particular area and drive right through it, or, you know, anything like that. And you know, we saw a lot of that and had a lot of it going on, and just you know, and there's always a lot of energy. Especially first thing in the morning, guys are fired up. They're cranked up with 2 or 3 cups of coffee, and they're antsy, you know. So you just want to be respectful. I know when I go travel, I'm always careful about how I handle myself, you know, because I don't want to have anybody have a bad, you know, moment.
Right.
So anyhow, most of them that seemed really nice in the park. I'm sure there was just a couple bad apples in there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But still, when you travel to somewhere, we should all remember to have super etiquette, especially because everything's so. We got to have to all play in the same sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
anyway, what the big news is Travis Hargis and Chris Owen had a 30-pound bag at Lower Otay.
That's not hard. It's not hard to do.
And on top of that, the big fish that he's talking about is a 14.27-pound largemouth bass out of Lower Otay, which is like the biggest bass that I've heard of out of Otay in a while.
Mike Gilbert had a 17-pounder.
Well, yeah, I know, but that was a long time ago. I'm talking, you know, in the last 3 years.
I think that was 2016, maybe. But it was beautiful fish.
Yeah.
It was perfectly proportioned.
Yeah.
It looked absolutely perfect. It wasn't flawed or old, or it just looked gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a perfect specimen.
That's
absolutely,
awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. there were several other very nice. I think we had a 7 and a 6.
Uh-huh.
Fish that ordinarily would be considered big ones. Now, we ended up on a bite that where we started the week before was pre-spawners, and when we got there, they were post-spawners.
It really changed a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I was getting a lot of reports from guys catching 20 pounds, 22 pounds. Oh yeah, if you don't have 20 pounds, blah, blah, blah. And then come tournament day, it was like these same guys are posting 14, 16, 15 pounds. Like they're like,
Right.
oh my God, it's totally different. Like it just changed over in a week.
Well, I'm not going to call it the pre-fish blues, but when you go in on a Wednesday and catch 20 pounds and then you go back on Saturday, it's not always going to be like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think, my mistake was I was sort of fishing a little bit out like I said, in a pre-spawn spot. And I think the fish had moved up a lot.
Yeah.
So the anglers that moved into the shallows caught some of those bigger fish. And, where we were waiting for that bigger bite out there, it just really never materialized for us. We had some really nice fish. We caught a bunch of fish. And it's good fishing. I'm not going to lie.
Otay's good. Otay's really good right now.
And I think the lakes are producing right now. I haven't been to El Cap, but I've seen the results. Like the juniors just had a super tournament.
Did you see the juniors' weights?
Yes.
They had 2 18-pound limits, first and second. Yeah.
Amazing.
They did good.
That was super. And then I think the young man had an 8-pounder, I believe.
Oh, there was an 8-pounder. There was also a 7-pounder. There was a 6. Yeah.
So again, and that just, that makes me really happy to see that again. There's some bigger fish that are coming out of the region, which will just be a perfect lead into what we originally wanted to talk about, which is our upcoming night tournament.
Yeah.
And the date is the 5th of next month.
Okay.
So it's just around the corner.
So 5th of May.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. 5th of April 5th or 5th or May 5th?
April 5, 4 5.
April 5th.
At San Vicente. And I'd like to encourage anglers to pre-sign if they can. And, it'll make it easier for everybody.
And that's on the website. That's ABA website. Just go there and pre-sign and sign up. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And the membership and all that. And just for political purposes, the membership serves for insurance. It's what you're buying. You're buying your insurance. So, we want to encourage people to pre-sign. It'll make the event, more fluid.
Yeah.
But we have, I think we're going to have a super event. I think it's going to be amazing because the fishing is going to be incredible.
Yeah. Well, there was just a 12-pounder cut out of there. And first night tournament, you're going to see some big ones. You're going to see some big ones.
The trick with the nighttime is you can invade their area and you have a lot higher you have more opportunity. They're not as they're just easier to catch at night. So you get a chance to catch that big fish at night. So I'm expecting to see 3 fish 20 pounds. That's what it used to be. It used to be, I mean, Gene and I used to win a night tournament. It took 20, 22 pounds to win.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity there for someone to come in with a 3 fish limit. That's the same weight as some guys are catching with 5.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting. And then again, I think that a lot of guys, the opportunity to fish at night doesn't come around that much. So if you want to go night fishing, this is one of the chances that you have, unless you're in a club, and I would encourage guys to join the clubs. The clubs, it seems like you're getting very competitive.
But the clubs they're getting thinner. We're losing. The Council of Bass Club is down to 10 clubs at this point. We lost 2 last year, the Strokers and the Hookers, I think. No, not the Strokers, but the Hookers and another one. They're just losing members. They were down to 4 guys,
Well, I would encourage guys that want to fish tournaments to start in the club and
It's
to
great.
get a mentor.
Clubs are great.
Right. Get a mentor, learn the ethics, learn the, the do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
Have a veteran take you around and show you some of the ropes, so to speak, of tournament angling. And I think it would help slow things down a little bit. There wouldn't be this kind of, because it has gotten more crowded. There are more people that are interested in the sport, which is great.
Yeah.
I as an ambassador, that's it's always phenomenal to see new people coming in and helping kids the other day at the shop and everything else. But it also creates a problem where if you don't have experience and you get into a situation you're not sure, and that's where you run into problems. But again, being the way that our lakes are set up, we all have to work together.
They're small.
Yeah.
They're small.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
The other day when those guys came up behind me, I just had to turn around and I casted the other way. and I know because, the guys that were sitting on the other side of me and this guy, they all just kind of looked at me and we all looked at each other. I said, no, just turn around and just go the other directions. But it is nice if you get someone who has experience to show you around and kind of give you an idea how to manage situations. If someone's going down the bank and they're going towards a point, you don't jump in front of them, you go behind them. Okay, you want to fish the point, but just wait till he goes by it and then you can fish. It just simple stuff like that a lot of people sometimes they're just not savvy.
Yeah.
Now, these night tournaments, we're expecting a pretty good crowd.
Oh, I'm sure you are. I mean, are you going to be the only night tournament series?
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be huge. You're going to have 50 boats.
Yeah. And we've got everybody on board with us. Like East County Bait and Tackle is helping us.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
So good. I mean, we're looking forward to having a like I said, a really nice event. I think the fishing itself is what's really going to drive this thing. Like I said, the fact that the fishing right now is really coming up. And I wanted to say one thing about what's happening with the lakes. It's really been a phenomenal year for Otay. If people have been around.
We saw it coming last fall. We were like kind of predicting like this next year is going to be a good one. Next year is going to be good too. But with the high water and it's starting to come down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
And then San Vicente, didn't really appear to be that healthy. It was floundering. We were not, our weights were down. It was hard to catch a limit. People were struggling there fishing. And so to see these fish coming out of there right now, kind of, it's encouraging me to tell me that there was actually more health in the lake than we knew. And those fish were actually in there just in a situation
we were fishing for them in the right spot.
Right. We just didn't have access to them,
Yeah.
And so that kind of encourages me to think, okay, well, they were there. We just didn't know, we just weren't either fishing them the right way or, so that makes me feel better because I was really kind of struggling with San Vicente. It's been kind of a struggle recently for everybody. So that at least that makes me happy that El Cap's been off the hook, Randy Lewis came in with 23 pounds. He was all excited. And then the next thing you know, Art Berry and Weston come in with 30 or 31 or whatever it was,
28.
Yeah. And then,
28 pounds.
Yeah.
Which was
phenomenal. Into a frown real quick.
Yeah.
Because when do you catch, 23 pounds and not win? I'm saying the lakes were fishing really good. So I'm excited for them. Was that juniors tournament at Sandy or was it at El Cap?
That was at El Cap.
Oh, my bad.
Yesterday was El Cap.
I said it was at San Vicente. Well, still, I'm pleased that those young men were able to catch those fish. I think that's just a phenomenal experience for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those pictures tell 1,000 words.
So, oh, yeah.
Now you said
Great
you fished a
fishes.
couple. You fished a couple tournaments. Where were you at?
Oh, I was at Havasu with the club, and then for last weekend, and then Saturday I was the Bass Council TOC was at San Vicente,
Okay.
and then yesterday with the kids at El Cap.
Well, how was San
And
Vicente? Let's hear your experience over there.
what, San Vicente?
Yeah. What did it take to win there?
It took 12 pounds to win.
Mm.
It was I'm not going to say it was terrible because everybody said they caught a lot of fish. I caught a lot of fish. I don't know how many I caught, maybe 20 for the day, but I culled up to 1088 and I took third for the TOC.
And how many boats were in that tournament?
Oh, just like 11
Okay, but
boats.
still.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was that, TOC, whatever, each club sends one member.
And what was the big fish?
Oh, it was like 3.5 pounds.
So that aspect of it hasn't changed much then.
No,
So,
no. It was funny because I pre-fished the day before and I saw Jake out there. I saw Jake leaving the dock, and I didn't bother him or whatever. But I saw him that day that he caught that fish. So then I saw he posted it that evening, and I was like, what? Oh my gosh! I went and re-rigged my stuff. I did. I
so his one cast could have won your tournament.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Well,
one cast.
you just got to, you just got to stick with it.
The kid's good.
The prospect of catching one of those, it's the 90-10 rule, right? The D10. Okay. Lee Howe. I mean, he's 100% right. Okay. There's 10% of the fish that, you know, don't get fished for. We fish for the 90%. I fish for the 90%. As a tournament angler, I'm out there. First thing I got to do is catch a limit, right?
Right.
So the guys that just want to fish and just fish for that 10% that are dedicated to catch those big ones, well, my hat's off to you.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
So I do expect to have a good turnout for this night tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping, and I'd like to encourage guys to come out and fish the ABA. We've had some really good tournaments. We're giving away an average of over $100 a boat. We had 24, I think, and we gave away 27.
Yeah.
750.
Yeah.
They did get big fish as well.
I'll tell you what I'm impressed with. So I have fished ABA tournaments at the Lower River with Tracy Pertree, and then I haven't fished ABA here in San Diego, but I went and watched the weigh-in a couple of times. And I watched Weston weigh in with Art and whatever. But beside that, it was so professional. Like your setup is so professional. It was like Trenton's back there. He's by himself, but it's like he brings the bag in, puts him in the basket, weighs the basket, and puts it back in the bag, and boom, the guy's gone. And it was a drive-up weigh-in, and the whole scene, the whole setup, the trailer, so professional.
Everything except for the everything except for the MC.
Right. The only thing I didn't mention, right? so that in itself was impressive. And the thing with like at the Lower River, it was kind of funny because I had never been in an ABA, and I had to pay entry fees and this and that, and I didn't know if I was going to have enough cash on me. And they swiped my debit card at Fisher's Landing. I was like, wow, you guys are on it. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, she's swiping debit cards, and she was just like, okay, and she just went to the next person. And I was like, man, you guys have got it going on.
It's really nice if we can get people to pre-sign.
Yeah.
Okay. It helps a lot, and I know the same with the East County Bait and Tackle. They try to encourage everyone to go to the tackle store and pre-sign. In fact, they have a little special. If you pre-sign with them, then you're in a raffle to win a free entry.
Mm-hmm.
So they have an incentive program, which is really smart.
Yeah.
But the thing about fishing the ABA or any of the bigger circuits or the bigger tournaments and stuff is it's the camaraderie, it's the friends, it's the people that I meet.
Yeah.
When I got done fishing the other night, we sat around afterwards and we were telling stories, really hilarious stories actually. And John Strelick told me, he whispered at me, he goes, "This is the 90% right here for me." And I'm like, I get it, man. I understand. I mean, you can just feel it. It's just that love you got in the circle with your friends and the guys that you fish against, and steel sharpens steel. And these guys have knocked the snot out of me, and I've knocked it out of them a couple times, and that's why we have so much fun together. But there's a mutual respect and there's an understanding, and these are the kind of people that at 2 a.m. in the morning, if I called them and said, "Hey man, I blew a tire, I lost something or this or that," they would come out and help me.
Yeah.
And so, you can hear the people say they don't have a lot. Well, I don't need a lot. I just need friends like that.
Yeah.
And so that, like John said, that's the 90%, and he fishes with Rusty, and those guys are just amazing, because they've been in this town for a couple, and they're really, when I do better than them, I feel like I've done something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You've had a good tournament.
Yeah. And that's why I do it. I mean, I'm out there to sharpen my, and hone my skills. So it really is something that I think, and I know that guys that come out and do it, that they need to have a level of success. I like to see people win.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the same guys win every week.
Right.
I want to see different guys up on the podium. I want to see that it spread around a little bit. I was stoked to see the Pernicanos up there. I was stoked to see the Berries up there. The father-son combos. Seth and George and Art and Weston. That's awesome. And the same when I see Wade and John. That's I didn't get to do that with my dad, but that would have been awesome. So it's really a lot of fun. I think that it offers a lot, and we've got a special group here in San Diego. And like I said, if you do good here, you've done something. You've accomplished something. You can pat yourself on the back, and you can put that piece of wood up, which is a lot more important than any revenue that you might have generated, because it's just going to last very long.
Not in this economy. Not with these gas prices.
Yeah, it's all about the bragging rights. I mean, it really is. And those are the memories, and those are the things that we talked about the other day after the tournament was over. And the funniest stories were when they quoted, for instance, when I was on the podium, and they retold what I said. And I said, did I really say and they just, and we had a lot of fun, and we still have fun, and we look forward to the next tournament. And again, I want to invite everybody to come out on 4/5. I'd invite you to the weigh-in, but it's probably going to be about 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
So might not be the easiest thing, but no, like I said, I'm excited. I'm hoping that we'll have some really, extraordinary fishing at night, as opposed to what you experienced the other day. So, and I think too, one last thought, we haven't really quite hit the prime time yet. Just as a side note, I mean, 63 to 75 or 65 to 75 is really
we're still looking at 59-60 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I see that fish that Jake caught obviously hadn't spawned yet. So, it's still just getting started.
Yeah.
I think some of the other lakes, though, if you were to do some searching around, you might be able to find some gold. There's some there's some of the lakes right now are full blown.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put that out there for people to use their imaginations about where I might be talking about. But some of the lakes around the East County are full blown.
Yeah.
But the bigger waters haven't hit the temperatures yet.
Right.
So that's my assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a pretty good year for giants, 11s, 12s, 14.
It's been a while
so
since we've
far.
had double digit bass in the mix. In tournaments.
Yeah.
Guys catching big fish in tournaments. It hasn't happened that way for a few years. So it's nice to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And the water levels, I mean, what are we going to do? It is what it is. It's drinking water.
It is. You can't. I know exactly. It's drinking water. The reservoirs are being used.
Yes.
And I say this about the PUD. We went and talked to Human Parto, the deputy director of the Public Utilities Department, and I said, why are you taking so much water out of Sutherland? He's like, taking water out of Sutherland because if we don't use it, it's just going to evaporate. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can't argue with that. I can't, I can't argue with that. So
yeah, and I think as the public, we don't quite understand everything that's involved with all that.
Yeah,
and
right. There's a bigger picture than just what we think we see.
Yes, because I asked about the water that was coming into Sam Vicente. I was really just kind of, we were just pontificating about what happened to the bait and to the water quality, and how there was no phytoplankton or any bacteria or anything in the water. It just looked really clear and clean, almost like it was purified, And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because of the quagga mussels or filtering out all the nutrients out of the water, and that doesn't leave anything in the water for the bait, or but somebody's getting shorted. And so we were asking the ranger about it and whatnot, and all our hypotheses were false. we didn't know what we were talking about. So it was fun to pontificate. We had a fun time talking about it and thinking about what could be all the issues. But it's drinking water. So I'm just thankful that we have access to the reservoirs, to the fishing. I realize it's limited. I know that people would like them to be open every day and this and that, but let's just be grateful for what we have.
Yeah. And they are. The lakes are full of fish. We're worried about this and we're worried about that, but we're starting to see some bigger fish this year. But our lakes are full of fish. Some people say we have too many fish. I don't know one way or another about that, but you can go out and have a good day. You can go out and have a good day right now at any lake and catch them.
Yes, you can. And even if you're not an experienced angler, you can go to Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle and get yourself 24 shiners, medium shiners. I'll pick them out for you, and we'll get you set up with the hooks and get yourself a spinning rod and some 8-pound test, and you go out and have yourself a fun time.
Yeah.
And really
That's exactly
have some
right.
fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, are want to experience it. They want to experience the fun of having a tug on the end of the line and feel the bite and everything else that we still enjoy every time I get one. It's still the same excitement, whether I've had 10 or 20, it's the same experience every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we like to have people experience that as well.
Yeah.
I just ask people to respect the resource. You know, I do think we should take fish out of the lake. I know Larry Bottroff was always big on some harvesting.
Yeah.
And I've read studies about keeping a certain number of pounds under, 25 pounds an acre or something like that.
Right.
In order to grow big bass. Now, one thing that we had previously that we don't have now were the trout. We used to get really nice trout stocks. When they threw those candy bar trouts in Otay, that was really a fun time for swim bait guys.
Yeah.
If you didn't, I had never thrown a swim bait or never had a swim bait ride, it was time to pick one up and experience it. And that was big forage for the bass. A bass has to eat 3 pounds of forage to gain 1 pound. So I don't know, but silver sides are very small.
Yeah,
So
they don't pack them on.
If you're going to try to eat 3 pounds of silver sides, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And crawdads again are, 5 grams, 4 grams. You got to eat a few. So, but the main big forage would be the bluegill or other baby bass. So it was nice when they put the trout in our lakes.
Yeah.
It really helped. That made those big fish bigger. And
we're working on it. We're working on it. There's some things in the works. We've talked with the DFG, talking with the lake managers.
Well, what would it take for say alpine fisheries that raise the shiners and whatnot to get them to have a trout pond and grow some trout? I mean, how hard is it?
A lot of money
For a hatchery? Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I imagine it's sounds
probably
easy.
have to get them from Just Ranch.
Yeah.
That's where Santee Lakes gets them. They get them from Just Ranch.
And Jennings?
Jennings gets them from Idaho. It's called Wright's Rainbows. They're from Idaho.
All the way from Idaho.
Yeah. They truck them down here.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I guess wasn't there where we had a hatchery previously up by Cuyamaca, I think, and then they moved it. Can't remember where they moved it to. Where they used to grow the DFG trout. The Department of Fish and Game had a hatchery, but I guess that's all gone by the wayside now.
Yeah.
So, well, if you need help, let me know. I'd be happy to contribute.
Yeah, I will. I'd like
when we
go to raise funds, we'll be making it. It won't be a secret. we're gonna tell everybody. Once we get the permits and start raising funds and stuff.
Well, put me on the team, and I'll be happy to volunteer my time and assist any way I can and help you guys out.
I'll do that.
I'd like to be a part of that team.
Okay.
All
right, Doc. Well, thanks for coming on the San Diego Bass Fishing Podcast. It was a pleasure having you on.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And again, like to invite all the anglers to come down to Lemon Grove and visit.
Yep.
And even if you just want to come down and tell a fish story.
And April 1st, first night tournament, or April 5th, first night tournament, ABA, San Vicente.
Yes.
Sign up early.
Yes. Go on to the AmericanBass.com and log in, and you can do everything online. Yeah. And if you have any problems, there's a phone number down there. If you're not computer savvy, just give them a call.
Yep.
They're always there. They'll be happy to help you.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, man. Hey, I'll talk to you later.
I'll look forward to seeing you on the water.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
All right.
See you.
Thank you.